And we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 29. And it's another glorious Sunday, and we are back at the round table on the Lord's Day. I'm very excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who I met in the flesh at our very first E3 together in 2015. I've watched this Lord's journey in not only becoming one of the top content creators, but also for his amazing business savvy in these gaming streets. This Lord is always calm and collected while providing extremely informative and insightful content, yet is never afraid to check fanboys in their feelings over false statements. Introducing BK's youngest in charge, the host of the Brooklyn Skill Tree podcast, and the creator of the #1 raw and uncut podcast in these gaming streets, Mr. Weapon Will himself, my man, Lord BG. How are you doing, sir?
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be on. Appreciate the invite.
No doubt, man. Pleasure to have you. Pleasure to have you. Long overdue. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. How y'all?
Pretty good, pretty good. And of course, we have the usual suspects at the round table. My co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, and the howl of the young wolf, my man, Lord Addict. How we doing, sir?
Pretty good, man. Just waiting for this Destiny2 launch.
Absolutely, absolutely. And unfortunately, we don't have our most technical gaming Lord. This Lord has fallen down to some sickness.
Yeah, get well, so get well.
So shout out to Lord Sovereign. He'll be back. You know, he's a little not feeling well, a little under the weather. We're glad to have him back. But of course, the excess gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord who is a man of his convictions. And the man's nothing less than the premium experience.
Ooh.
Beloved Lord King, how are we doing, sir?
We're doing fantastic. I hope everybody got in that power. Yo, the numbers came in for the Floyd Conor McGregor, and the numbers blew even Yo King away. 6.6 million, and the numbers keep growing. That means Conor is walking away for himself. Get this, for himself, 150. You understand? Like before the numbers was coming, they estimated the same thing as Pacquiao, 2.6 million. And he would have walked away with a good 70, you know, even after his cut with Dana. No. Now, after his cut with Dana in the UFC, your boy walk away with 150. We're not even talking about Floyd numbers. We know Floyd numbers is 400 and better. He might crack half a billion.
Yeah, that's crazy what he's doing. I mean,
But
that fight did tremendous.
yes, it's like, and everybody was sitting there, the decaps was telling you, oh, nobody wanted to see it, nobody cared about it. No, the world stopped and took a moment and looked at the two greatest of their sports, or the two most entertaining of their sports. This is what happened when you have the two most entertaining of the same, you know, combat sport world come together and they mesh. The world stands up and take notice. And, you know, they stood up and took notice, and they voted with their wallet. It was fantastic.
No doubt. Getting our boxing numbers in, my Lord King.
That's right. I'm gonna keep you updated, baby.
No doubt. And of course, one of the original Iron Lords, the hunter who helped build the ILP movement from the very beginning, Mr. Haiti Ho himself. Lord Zero, how we doing, sir?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Been paying attention to the plethora of leaks for Destiny 2 and just excited for it to come out.
Absolutely.
You know how it is.
Great to have you in the building. Always one of the original brick builders. And of course, it is Lord Cognito here spreading that gaming realness on the ILP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So before we get into what the Lords are playing, I want to first start off with Lord BG's video game system history. What inspired the creation of the world's #1 gaming podcast, that Weapon Wheel, and of course, one of my favorites, the Brooklyn Skill Tree. So, Lord BG, tell me about like gaming in the beginning for you. Now, I know you're a multi-platform guy, but like, what was the first system or console or PC?
Sorry, 1 second. One
No
second,
worries,
guys. Give me 1 minute.
No worries, BG. We get back to you. So while we waiting on Lord BG for a second,
I gotta say this though. I gotta say this to Lord Zero. Yo, it's kind of like kismet, to be honest with you, because Destiny's coming out this weekend. You know that feeling. You know, I mean, no disrespect to Lord Sovereign. Lord Sovereign is gonna play, and he'll be like, you understand? But my man, this week you got the butterflies yet, my man? You got. It's your stomach doing that thing, because I know mine is right now. I want to warlock out so bad right now. Yeah,
I'm with you, bro. I'll be honest with you. I detoxed myself from Destiny 1 for a few months now, right?
No doubt.
That it just hard.
No, it's all good. It's all good, BG. We get right back to you, bro.
So what was the question you was asking?
So the question is, like I said, we know that as far as you're a multi-platform guy, also a PC guy. So I wanted to start off first with like your video game history, and then we can get into like kind of what inspired the #1 podcast in these streets, that Weapon Wheel, and of course the Brooklyn Skill Tree. So what was like the first system or maybe PC that you had as far as it got you into gaming?
Nintendo, well, Super Nintendo. Yeah.
That's it. So SNES. So what was one of those early games? Talk to me.
My parents bought me that when I was like 5, I think, and they definitely got me, first Super Mario game,
Nice.
Donkey Kong. What else they got me with that? I know those are my first 2 games.
Nice. So you were Super NES. So with all that Switch talk I be hearing, I'm surprised by this.
Oh yeah, man. I've had every Nintendo console. It's just like the only ones I didn't like. Like people think like there's just this long running hate for Nintendo. Nah, the first console of Nintendo I didn't like that they made was the Wii, because it was such a departure from what we used to them making. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I love Nintendo before that.
Cool.
No,
so
they went super casual and pushed you to the left. That's what
exactly. They forgot about me, man.
I feel you. So then after the Super NES, like, what did you transition to, like after that, like as far as the generations concerned?
So what happened, and this might have actually like made me the way I am now. So I actually wanted a N64 after that, right? But for some reason, my parents got me a PlayStation instead, and my cousin got an N64, and I was tight. I was like, I don't want this PlayStation. This is trash. I don't want this.
Yeah, I remember on Weapon Wheel, you was like, sometimes I just sit here and think, what would have happened if I got an N64?
Wow.
He said, I could be a Nintendo dude up in here. Like,
it could have been Shokio. He could have been Shokio.
It would have probably went completely left. Been real different. But yeah, they got me the PlayStation. I didn't want it at first. I was mad because I had the previous Nintendo console, so obviously you want the next one. But absolutely. I got the PlayStation first instead, and then I got an N64. I enjoyed both, but after that the PlayStation became the main console.
Absolutely. That PS1 was crazy, man. Any standout titles for you that you used to rock a lot on PS1?
Oh man, of course, Crash, Spyro.
No doubt. See that Crash logo looking very fire. Yes.
Siphon Filter.
Did you play Tobo?
Play what?
Tobo. The fighting game, when it first came out, it was the first 60 frames per second fighting game, and it kind of looked like from the guy who made the Dragon Ball Z characters. That was probably my best.
I do remember. Wasn't it like a collabo game? Was it like Square and?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember it on that.
I played Tumba, Fighting Force.
Nice.
Was it Soul Reaver? Yeah.
Yes. Nice. All right. So then you went from PlayStation and all that. So then when did I know you're also a hardcore PC guy. Now, when did that transition kind of happen as well? I was very curious about that.
I had always, when I was younger, played a little bit. I used to play a lot of Age of the Empires, especially online.
Nice.
The original one. And a few other PC games. I don't know if y'all ever remember this game, Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I do. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was actually one of my favorite, first-person shooters back in the day. This was when, my parents wouldn't get me that many games, so I only could select a few. Also, Medal of Honor, Allied Assault. I played that on PC when I was younger.
Nice.
And then when I got a little bit, when I was able to build my own rig, that was like, when I got back to like, I guess hardcore PC gaming, that was like 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when I really started to buy in, all the multi-plats on PC and everything.
Nice. And then that's when you became part of that master race.
Yeah.
I feel you, man. I feel you, no doubt. All right, cool. So then I want to transition now as far as...
But he doesn't do the waiting shit. I got to respect that.
Yeah, you got to respect that. Got to respect.
Yeah,
So let's transition into the weapon wheel. When did that start? How did that whole thing come to be? Because you guys are killing it out here. So tell me about the evolution.
Yeah, so I don't remember. We've been going like 2.5 years now, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, it all started because I'm like, there's a lot of podcasts of people that agree with each other and like each other a lot. Let me put together a podcast where we don't necessarily like each other and we don't agree on each, which, as people seen, that works out sometimes, and a lot of times it don't. But with all the the fighting, it's just a part of it, like, because typically the people have people in their podcast that they
all agree
generally
with.
like,
generally
like or have respect for. Like, I'm the host, and like there's one person in there, at least two people maybe, that I actually don't like. I'm not good with these people.
I think Weapon Wheels might be the only podcast on all of YouTube that does that.
I respect that, but my question to you is, like, because of that, it's such a unique concept, and I really respect it. But because of that, like, how are you able to manage all the different personalities? Because clearly we've seen, through the headlines, there's been issues with some members, but you guys always seem to get it back together, and always the chemistry is still there, and it's a great show. So, like, how's that, like, the whole managing of that go for you?
I mean, honestly, I would say half the time I might say something. Half the time I don't say anything at all. I just let people fight it out, and I just watch.
Just watch, play the background.
Yeah, I just watch, because and most of the time it works itself out. Amazingly, like with some of the situations, you'd be like, yo, there's no way they coming back from this. This went way too far left.
They went left.
And it somehow just it gets brought back. So it works.
Well, I'm glad your brother's out here still doing it. And again, you guys are killing it with the weapon wheel. We really appreciate that. And the last question I had for you in reference to that was the Brooklyn skill tree, which is something I've seen, that you kind of do on the side afterwards. So how did that start? And tell me about the whole concept behind it.
I wanted to do like an in-person podcast, and I know Ricky and Red, they both live in my area. Well, BK. Yeah, close enough in my
BK,
area.
Say it with your chest, BK.
Yeah, Brooklyn, of course.
You already know.
So and they were just some people I was like already cool with anyway. Like, like some people I would actually chill with in the real. So I hit them up. I was like, yo, let's do an on-camera podcast. And I thought it was a good idea, and it worked out. We don't get to do it as often because it's a lot easier to do a podcast. You don't gotta go nowhere. You just meet up on Google Hangouts. But yeah, we try to meet up at least like maybe once a month, once every 2 months, and do it. And and it's cool.
Yeah, man, good stuff, man. I definitely enjoyed Brooklyn skill tree a lot as well. And I remember if you remember, we kicked it a little bit back at your first E3 in 2015. When I ran up to you on the trade, if you remember.
I remember you. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, shit, PG.
Because like every black person at E3 was doing the head nod and everything.
Yeah, well, we gotta see each other and just be like, that's right.
There's not a lot of us out there, so we gotta acknowledge each other. No doubt. All right, so that's cool, man. Definitely like what you're doing out here. So we're gonna get this show moving. We're gonna talk about what the Lords are playing. So let's start off with you, Lord G. What are you playing this week? What you been playing? What games you been rocking?
Mainly Players Unknown Battleground, and play a little bit of Madden recently.
Okay, nice.
That's it. Yeah,
doing that long shot mode. Try that long shot.
I only been playing online, like playing against people. I ain't even played the campaign yet or the franchise or whatever.
I didn't catch it. Did you beat that $100 thing? Hardegg, who won that?
No, he won that.
Gotcha. Staying that Madden in. That's what's up. All right, Lord Addict, what have you been playing this week?
Mario and Rabbids. That's pretty much all.
Nice. I know you got a
I
lot to say
literally
about
every day I've came home this week, I've passed out.
Because it's creamy, I think.
That's no doubt. All right. And Lord King, what have we been rocking this week?
Well, Sir Lord Benjamin Johnson, my French bulldog, came home, so he's definitely, been acclimated, to the family. But in between there, I finished the Halo Wars 2. Now I gotta, start working on those little skirmishes and stuff like that, getting that out. I stopped playing the Madden.
You got to get that confidence up to play me.
Oh,
no, I don't. No, I don't. You look crushable too. It's like crazy, but like looking at you, you look crushable. Like that's an easy thing. Also, the rabbits. I know. I'm gonna jump into Lord Addict's segment later, so I know you're talking about rabbits. So that's gonna happen. But I threw on the Destiny on the PC. I got to 4K 80 frames per second. Yes, I was like beasting, but I stopped playing it.
Okay, you kind of fell back off it.
No, I stopped playing it, and I resigned to the fact that I was definitely playing it on my Xbox platform because it was dead. It was like playing on PlayStation.
Okay. Oh, you talking about as far as community is concerned?
Yeah, just bots running around. Basically, you don't know if they real or fake. Or
Man's asking in the chat if there's any online aspects to Mario+Rabbids. As far as I know, no. Right? It should be just. I know there's a co-op, but I believe it's a local co-op, right? AJ, Lord Addict.
Yeah, some kind of co-op thing. I haven't even touched it.
Yeah, just co-op. All right, cool.
Nobody got to that part yet. Anchor.
No online co-op, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. I saw your tweet, Lord Anchor, in reference to which you should pick up there. And I know Mario Kart does have everything online. So if that's a factor for you, yeah, Rabbids a little bit more selfish.
Buy that rabbit. Don't get Mario Kart.
Don't get Mario Kart. Get Rabbids.
I would say Lord Zero, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, I've been playing a lot. I've been focusing a lot on fighting games. Been going back to MKX, playing a bunch of Injustice and Dead or Alive. I've been streaming a lot with Panda from After Hours Barcadia, which we've been streaming a lot of fighting games, getting back into the dojo, trying to get the hands back. Other than that, I've been partying on Ark for a lot.
Nice. That's right, because
Ark officially released.
Yeah, what was the official release date?
Tuesday.
Nice.
Tuesday was the 29th.
I know you, and I know Lord Dizzy's very happy. You know, you've been blazing.
Yeah, and like I said on our last podcast, it's good to see the baby grow up. We've been supporting the game for a while now.
You guys were day ones. There's no doubt.
Yeah, that's crazy because it came out same day as Rabbids. Nobody heard the tree fall in the forest.
Oh,
are we talking about Ark?
Here we go. Here we go with the Ark shots. Here we go.
I mean, I can sit here all day having Ark shots, but we don't have all the time for that.
Bang.
Ark's made millions of dollars already, so y'all can take shots all you want.
Yeah, that's true. I know them numbers looking abysmal.
Even millions of dollars is bad.
And on that note,
the support will end this week.
I'll be moving on to what I've been playing. Yeah, this was #Kill the Backlog, and I got it done. Salute to my trainers, Lord Anchor, Lord Addict. You know what I'm saying? I was able to get my first championship in August, that achievement championship. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very excited. I did all those cheap games to keep my score high. Telltale, shout out to Telltale, y'all. Telltale definitely helped me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Megatron.
Yeah, right. It wasn't even Telltale that did that. It was those really cheap games.
The really cheap games. Look, Megatron forced my hand. Shout out to Lord Megatron. It was a battle for all the way up to like the last 3 weeks. You know, he kept challenging me, picking up them cheap $2 games and getting on my nerves for 1,000 games. But we got it done. But yeah, man. I also shout out to Randall Thor. I don't know how you guys do that every week. I mean every month. It is intense to keep doing that. So I will be retiring now that Destiny2 will be coming out for another 3 years. But at least I got my first one. Shout out to Megatron in the chat. Shout out to the Winter Soldier. I see you in the chat. I mean, I don't know how you guys do that every month. It is intense. But I will say this. That's something I do, which like Nintendo does incorporate up, because seeing that achievement leaderboard is really fun. Because you wake up in the morning, you're like, he done cut my score down to 90 points. I got, oh, okay, I got to move on this. You know what I mean? So it was really fun. But anyway, so that's that. And just want to get in real quick to last week's poll. The results are in, and the people have spoken. So to the question, your favorite Destiny class aside, of the 3 Destiny 2 Vanguard video trailers shown thus far, which is your personal favorite? The winner at 48% strong, everybody's favorite hunter and the clear star of the Taken King, K6.
I mean, what else was there a choice from?
Yo, you know what's funny? He was in these streets pushing his little merch. Did you see the merch that I got? Like, I went to go put the pre-order too. Yes, I'm like, what the hell is this?
And in a very close second place, I'm in my feelings, to my personal chagrin, was Warlock Ikora Ray at 34%.
We can definitely move on now.
And finishing a shocking 3rd place at only 18%.
Boring.
Amanda Zavala, Titans. Where y'all at? Where are y'all?
Boring.
Let's just move on. I'm not even having this conversation.
Boring. He's boring.
Thanks to all who participated in the poll. IP Twitter's mentions were lit. They were going at it. And we already see what the people are spoken. We got a new poll picking up at the end of the show tonight. So enough of that. We're going to get into these topics. So unfortunately, Lord Saab is not in today, but we're going to keep his topic. And we want to talk about the Xbox One X pre-orders and that fiasco that's been going on real recently. We know that Michael Pachter has made some comments in reference to it. And I actually want to set this off with Lord BG if he's available, because I know he did a recent video on this in reference to the Brooklyn Skill Tree. So Lord BG, have you been following this whole fiasco about the Xbox One X pre-orders?
Yeah.
Talk to me about Pachter and WindowsCentral and this little beef, and tell me what your feelings are.
Yeah, so pretty much like Pachter was saying, like, it's not the report from WindowsCentral that he disagrees with about it being the most pre-orders, but he was pretty much saying like that doesn't actually mean what you think, like, because as far as pre-ordered Xbox consoles, there's really only been like one. I mean,
yes.
Well, one official launch. I mean, because there were like, you know, the reiterations, like the, you know, the Xbox Slim, I guess you can count that, and the original Xbox 360. So there's been like, I guess maybe 3, the Xbox 360, the Xbox 360 Slim, and the Xbox One, and I guess the S, because you could have pre-ordered all those, right? I think you could have pre-ordered all those. So I think pretty much what he was saying, like, that it doesn't really mean much as far as like being the most Xbox pre-orders ever, because there haven't been that many, is what he was pretty much saying.
Exactly. Absolutely. I mean, there's some, I feel there's some truth to it, but I want to get the what the rest of the lords are feeling. I know Lord Attic, Lord King may feel strong on this, so you want to get these.
Lord Attic, do you want to go first? I will allow you to go first, sir.
You'll allow me? Swear?
Yeah, I will allow you. Guys, the door's open, sir. Go first.
Look, when it comes down to it, it's like, you know, do I think people are blowing this out of proportion? Yeah. It's not like, you know, they came out and said this is a limited edition that they said from the start is going to be limited stock, so obviously it's hard to come by. When you got like 10 to every GameStop, and you know maybe Amazon has 5,000. Obviously they probably got more than that, but you get the point. Clearly, you know, this product will be hard if you have it in small quantities.
Right. Okay. Now, Lord King, what's your opinion on this whole? I know you feel very strongly about Michael Pachter.
Pack Attack. You used to be heavy in these streets, Pack. It was crazy. Yo, you was the digital foundry back in the days. I used to go and I used to listen to you for your business knowledge. I was like, man, being a young entrepreneur, I was like, yo, his statistics, he's on point. But I realized, Pack, that you are a biased dude. Like, I'm gonna keep it straight 100 with you. Like, you're a straight phony. You're a phony and a fraud. Because anytime PlayStation does something, you just be bandwagon hopping from this to that. But I noticed you was down in them trenches when you was getting beat down by the Microsoft Steam train over that PlayStation, and you had your flag, your freak flag was flying then, but it got crushed. So now that these dudes is up, yo, oh, the PlayStation, the Pro got smashed. It got smashed, and you upset right now because your freak flag has got to go down. You got to put it back in your pocket, and you got to play your position. So the sad part is now that y'all want to change the narrative. Now the narrative is going to be, oh, it ain't PC standards because it's crushing your Pro. I know that's next. I'm sick and tired of every time these guys get a small victory, somebody want to sit there and try to snatch it away. No, it is the most pre-order system, the fastest pre-order system, and it's smashing that Pro and it's smashing that PlayStation stuff. So understand, take that, sit down, relax, take a breath, and just say, yo, let them have that. Let that sun shine on them. You still got 65 million sold, right? You're still doing your numbers, right? What are you afraid of? I know what you're afraid of. Bringing back them bad memories of when you was getting stomped in the back of your head. But it's coming back.
You're a savage. Look, King, let me ask you a question though. What about the argument that I'm hearing in reference to, like, for example, let's just say, I'm just throwing a hypotheticals. Like, let's just say they had 2,000, Microsoft Xbox Scorpio
sold out fast. I don't care how many they had.
So what about that in reference to the, like, if it's the number, let's say that the actual number is low, but they're saying that they're sold out, you don't
right. But
you
got to see nowadays is the way you word things, like launch exclusive. Oh, people be like exclusive. They forget about that first part, launch, right? And they just focus on exclusive.
When we watched E3, the only one who was paying attention to that launch exclusive was the hardcore gamers.
Yes, we were sitting there like me and Attic was sitting there like, why everybody all up in arms? It just said for a week it will be out with you guys first. Listen.
We were sitting there, it was like, watch it say on State of Decay launch exclusive when we was at E3 watching it.
So you got to realize that whatever people hold on to, whatever to push the narrative, fine. I don't care if they had 40,000, like he's saying they had 40,000 and it sold out quick. What do you want them to have? 2 million? Who has 2 million day one? So stop it. I'm pretty sure if they had a larger number, they would have sold out at a larger rate too. Switch did it too. Everybody does it. So don't sit there and try to snatch away their little shine. Stop it. I don't like the rhetoric.
So you're just not feeling the pack right now.
No, I'm not feeling the hate. He's a PlayStation boy.
I want to get you in on this. What's your opinion?
As far as Pachter goes, I never really paid attention to the guy. I'll be 100 with you. I never cared. As far as the system's doing, honestly, demand is demand, and I'm just happy to see that people want it. Because for the longest time, people were saying, nobody's going to be interested in it because
he was the one that was telling you that.
I got to interrupt you for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Black Rider said Patrick's like the weatherman, usually wrong but still has a job.
True, he'd be wrong a lot. Though. You're right. I mean, until y'all defense Lord King and Lord Zero, I will say this, that he was one of the initial forecasters that actually said he doesn't see the market for it, right? Yeah, because he said the $5 price point and things of that nature. So you feeling like Lord Zero that like you're not really still paying him no mind because of this initial feeling, or?
I respect him as a businessman. He's made a career and everything, right? But his predictions are usually wrong. And this is something that Lord Kai put out in chat just now. Like, I don't know why people. I'll quote him. I don't know why people take Pachter as gospel. Most of his predictions are wrong.
I feel you.
So.
Yes, it's an interesting one. I want to jump in real quick. I mean, I thought the banter between him and I believe shout out to Lord Jess Gordon from WindowsCentral was kind of interesting because he actually threw WindowsCentral under the bus. He was like, "Don't believe that ish over there at WindowsCentral." I was like, "Oh, shots fired! They going in on Twitter." Since then, there's been an apology between WindowsCentral, and Jess Gordon and Pac. And he's trying to basically say, like, it was more of a shot at the fanboys, the Xbox fanboys, so to speak, who in their feelings,
He apologized, but being dirty is still being dirty.
No, it was a shot. There was no doubt. It was definitely a shot fired across the bow, in reference to that. So I just thought that part was interesting. Me, as far as the pre-orders itself, who knows how much stock they had, but at the end of the day, whatever it was, it, according to Microsoft, it did sell out. So we have to take them for their word at it for now. Obviously, the hardcore, in my opinion, are going to buy this system. The question is it going to be enough for November, or is it going to be enough to sustain past that? Because we know the hardcore are going to most likely buy this thing.
So I do got a question to ask everyone on the panel. Do you guys still think they have a chance to win November?
Yeah.
You know where I feel like this. I'm part of the bend the knee segment with Sub. I'm gonna say no, but I'm curious to get Lord BG because I know he made a video about November, initially saying Xbox would win it. So I'm curious about how where he is now with the latest information.
Yeah, initially I had said I definitely feel they should win it. But it's not that Crackdown was gonna help it win,
right?
But I felt like it wasn't gonna hurt it. But now the bad press might hurt them and cause them to to lose November. I'm not sure, but I think like people might forget about Crackdown by then and be like just pick one up anyway. So they still got a chance.
Got you. All right. So you still think they still got a chance in reference to it? If they don't, who you think would be the biggest competition, to them, regardless for that month? Would it be Sony with the bundles? Do you think it would be Switch with the Mario or whatever? Like, who do you think is the biggest competition to them? Because it's such a tough month.
Honestly, I think it's Sony. I don't think it's Mario. I really don't. I think people really putting like Mario's gonna sell, but I think people are really putting too much into this Mario. Like they making it way too much of a force when it's a force, but it's not. Listen, it's not more of a force than the PS4 itself.
I think people are more, obligated to pick up Switch because there's multiple games out now by the time Odyssey comes out, and not necessarily because Odyssey's coming out.
Like people are making it seem like
the chat is mixed. They're saying Sony with the bundle. Someone saying Switch. The chat is going crazy right now.
People are making it seem. What's up?
Did you think? Okay, I don't think they was gonna win November because of the X. I thought they was gonna win November because of the S. To be honest with you,
you're talking about the combination of all Xbox platforms,
right? Because that's how we looked at it. We didn't say that Xbox was going to win just solely because of the X. I didn't think that. I don't think they have the numbers to do that for the system. But I thought the S, being that the bundles, the Black Friday, the sales, the fact that they can lower the price to the casual to walk in and pick one up at a super low price that wasn't looking at it. I think they need to get Christmas out of the way. I think so. I don't know.
I think their biggest, I think the PS4 bundles is going to be more of an issue than the Switch. Like I really, because when you're promoting, the PS4 with Battlefront, Call of Duty, like that can be devastating.
Destiny.
Well, by then I think the Destiny, ride would be calm, not dead, but it'll be calm.
Slow down a little bit.
Yeah, so I don't think a whole lot of people are, because a lot of that by that time there'll be Destiny 2 bundles bought, but I think it will mainly be the Battlefronts, the Call of Duties, but I want to know how Microsoft's going to combat that, because they've done stuff in the past, like let's say I remember a Call of Duty came once out, like it was the 7th of November or something like that. And they announced like 2 weeks before that, and only it was like the 6th, 7th, and 8th. If you buy any Xbox One S, you get a game for free.
Yeah, but my thing was to Lord BG. What did you base your initial prediction of Microsoft winning November on? What did you think was going to put them over the top earlier?
Just that I don't think it. Well, it would be the assumed price drop. I assumed there would be a price drop around that time of the S. And even though the hardcore demographic is like a minority, it's still a lot and enough.
Yeah, there's still millions of hardcore people, and people don't realize that.
Yeah, and still a lot to help you just win, at least 1 month, so you get all of that, you get those combined forces, then it should, on paper be an easy win at least.
Right. No doubt. But Lord VG though, I did see though, I'm following you, and I did see when the Crackdown delay happened, you fell back. You were like, I don't know, I might have to rescind this.
Yeah, it's that bad press, man. Like that bad press can kill you.
I hear you, man. It's gonna be a tough one now. Lord BJ, I got one last question before we move on to the next topic. Because here at the ILP, we have a segment we call Bend the Knee, right? So we got Lord. It's all in fun. We got Lord Hip Hop Gamer in it. We got Lord Rand in it. So I want to see, because obviously November is a huge month, right? Everyone, it's going to be tight. Who's going to win this NPD? Would Lord VG be willing to throw his name in the hat in the vendor news segment and be a man of his convictions and say who's going to win that November? Is he willing to throw his hat in there?
Oh, actually, like confirm it, like put everything in.
Yes, because hip hop is saying what hip hop said. Xbox. Lord Rand, he said Switch with me. So now I need Lord VG to get part of this bend the knee segment. Who's gonna bend the knee in November?
I'm a November. I'm a double down. I'm gonna go Xbox again.
Woo!
I'm gonna go Xbox again.
That's what's up. All right.
Definitely, that's
really
going to be
should
brought
be
up
an
on
easy
Weapon
bag.
Wheel. I know that's going on Weapon Wheel.
It really should be an easy bag. I mean, it really should be easy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you. Like if Microsoft can't pull this off, then I feel like that's a new low.
If
No, you know what?
Microsoft doesn't win November, like they got a lot more. They're in a lot more serious shit than we think.
Yeah, you know what? I feel the same way you feel, because I didn't base my numbers. I based it on, technically I knew that the X would sell out. I knew whatever initial allotment they would have, that would sell out, so that would boost those numbers. But then it's the back order, the stock that they do have, and how they're going to get that to the masses of those S's. Because Phil want to sell those S's. He wants you to forget about the bad taste of the original Xbox and put these S's in your house, and to push that 4K narrative. So I really believe that the S's, if they can get it to that sweet spot of like 179 with a game, and then you get that Black Friday madness, I really think they have a shot.
I feel you. I feel it's going to be interesting. That would be great, because what I want to do is, like I said, come December, when the announcement comes out, we'll revisit the Bend the Knee segment with all the lords that have participated. So that should be fun. So anyway,
there's just no real reason why they should lose that. Like, if Microsoft loses November, it's gonna be bad.
No doubt. So that's all the Lord's got on this topic. We're gonna move on, and I want to pass this off to my man Lord Addict. His favorite game has released that he's been waiting a long time for. That Rabbids, I believe. So you got a lot to say about this, Lord Addict. So we'll give you the floor.
So on the Switch, they I can't even remember I think it was last Tuesday. They released Mario+Rabbids, which I think that I've always thought that was a stupid name. Mario+Rabbids. Like, I could think they could have found something else besides a plus between their names. Like, I digress. I'm not going to even argue about that.
Mario and Rabbids?
You see, that would have been better. Like, come on. Like, what is Nintendo doing over there? But anyway, besides I'm going to go in on this game. Okay, I am.
Here we go.
So I played it, and I just first off, I want to ask the panel: has anyone else here played it besides me? I know BG. I know you were looking into it, but I didn't know if you picked it up or not, because I got that hint that you were kind of like you were leaning away from the Switch.
No, I'm gonna get it eventually. I know I keep pushing it back and back, like when I'm gonna get one, but I will get one. Like, it'll be in the next few months.
No doubt.
But the game, I'll let the rest of the panel talk if they've played it.
I played it.
I picked it up. I played it. Look, you go ahead. You started.
Yeah, I think it's the greatest thing that they got right now. I mean, all right, maybe the Zelda has washed off for me right now, and I had to go back and put the Zelda on. So I checked out the Zelda, and graphics to graphics. Okay, what I've noticed with the Zelda, it's soft. It's a softer look, while the Mario+Rabbids has a sharper, more Nintendo-y Mario. They captured the whole essence of Mario, in my opinion, with stuff being added to the hub. When you defeat things, you go back to the hub and you notice stuff that wasn't there before, and it's like these little nuances, these little Nintendo-isms that pop up that make you feel like, wow, it's like my first strategy type game, like cover base, and when you really delve into it, it is so intricate and so deep how you set up a board and get past it. Like, it's different ways to do things.
XCOM influence.
It's so beautiful. Yes, the XCOM influence is heavy inside the game. It was a great merger of the two, and the Ambio. Oh my God, the amiibo functionality of everything. It was fantastic. It wasn't overused. It was if you had these set amiibos, you can use them one time.
Okay.
And then you get a weapon for that, but the weapon is not OP. Actually, by the time you unlock it, even if you unlock it that second, the weapon that you get is inconsequential. It's actually
now. Let me ask you a question, okay? Because I know you're King Amiibo. My question is now: it's a one-time use. Is it
one shot?
Is it a daily use like how Zelda?
No.
You can okay, so it's just one and that's it.
That's it. You just get that one gun, and you can never go back to the Amiibo store again.
Oh, okay.
So,
We're gonna throw that TV out.
So it's actually it's good for the one shot there, you know, just to get the 100% out the game, because some people is a completionist type of game. You would like to go back and finish some of the challenges, and some of the challenges are super hard, and it looks great. My children watch me play it constantly. My son could be in his room playing Batman or whatever. He hears that Mario+Rabbids come on, he runs downstairs to watch. So it's a fantastic game. It looks great. It's probably, to me, and saying this, knowing that Mario Kart is out,
right,
and Zelda is out, it's probably, to me, the most visually arresting game that they have on a system so far.
Okay.
It shows me
Zelda
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's subjective.
No, I mean, in my opinion, I played it for a little bit. I know how I am. First of all, I'm a huge XCOM fan. That's like one of my favorite games of all time. So when I heard about this announcement, you know, of Mario+Rabbids and Ubisoft, first I was impressed that Nintendo even allowed Ubisoft to do something like this with one of their franchises. So that was the first thing. The second thing, I'm like, all right, let me see the XCOM aspect of it. And I wanted to see how deep it really is, because we all know XCOM is very deep. So I was actually surprised. Like, it's like, shout out to Lord Kai in the chat. It's a very aggressive XCOM. You know, it's, like XCOM is more about, you know, move a couple spots, Overwatch, you know, move your guy here. So you're trying to flank the enemy if they react to you. Where this is more like you can throw your man over there to jump to a larger distance to go get them dudes kind of game. Like, it's really aggressive, which it took me a little bit of an adjustment. Not a bad thing. But yeah, so far, I mean, I've been liking. I've only played, you know, I'm on like stage 1, 3, or you know, like that. I didn't play too long because I know how I am with those type of games. I tend to blaze. And shout out to Lord Addict, because I've been playing some other stuff on the Switch. But I like it so far. It's a different take. You know, I think I know what Lord Addict's problem with the game is. I'll let him talk on it. But so far, so good. You know, I want to get deeper in it. I thought the cinematics were fun. I didn't expect any type of great story with this game. I mean, it's really mixing apples and oranges. So the fact that they even had a cinematic to me in the beginning trying to explain why these characters are in the same world, like, I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I'm not here for that. I'm here for the XCOM business. You know? I'm having fun with it. I like it. Lord Zero, I know you're not having Switch yet, but did you at least, you know, see anything about it that interests you, or is it something that as a Switch, if you get a Switch, you would get or not get?
I would probably get it when I get a Switch. To be honest with you, it looks interesting. It has my attention. I did want to comment. I agree with you where you said you're surprised that Ubisoft, you know, let something like that happen when their titles, right?
Yeah.
Have y'all seen the Final Fantasy 15 and Assassin's Creed crossover thing going on right now?
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah. Ubisoft's being a lot more, I want to say loose, but that might be the wrong word. But yeah, they're being more open with other games using their titles. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And now, Lord BG, I know you said this was one of the games. You're an XCOM guy, correct, or no?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge XCOM fan and everything. Nice. So what excites me about this is that, like, it opens Nintendo up to doing other games finally. Like, because all I want them to do is like copy the genre of other games that I like with, and you know, just use their own characters instead of just continue making platformers of everything they have. So that's what excites me about it.
Nice, I feel you. And Lord Addict, I know you got some things to say. I saw your Twitter timeline. I saw you and Erica going at it. About some story stuff.
This is one of the Switch's best games, but you know, I'm not gonna just like give them a complete pass on everything that this game has to offer. If you come into this as a big fan of XCOM and you know you expect pretty much an XCOM experience playing this game, you're going to be sadly mistaken. It's got an XCOM feeling, but do not expect this is going to be like XCOM. In a way, it's way more simplistic than XCOM, but in another, like in the exact same way, it's what they make it simplistic. They keep the difficulty still there, because on this game, in XCOM you can get upgrades to get more people in your squad, and you start with 4 people on XCOM. On this, it's 3 and 3 only. Yeah. And sometimes they can overrun you very easily, and if you don't, it's more of those things where they reward you for being aggressive, and if you're not aggressive, they'll hurt you tremendously. So
is there no like defensive techniques in that, like for when enemies approach?
There's no Overwatch like standard, but there are abilities for Overwatch. There are abilities for Overwatch. And one of the issues I have with the game is, I understand, what Lord Cognito said about the story, but my issue, it's like not even really I expected a huge deep story, but I feel like there's too much, there's not enough explanation when you're playing this game. It's like, oh, go to the graveyard place. You go to the graveyard. It's they don't really explain what's going on like at all. It's like if you literally don't like, this is not going to be one of those things to bring in new people from another genre.
No.
Because
I agree. Yeah.
You start the game, it starts off really good. Like it really does. Like when you start it off, it has like that Blizzard with Overwatch feeling.
Yeah. Shout out to Lord Anchor. He keeps thinking we're talking about Overwatch. He said the game of the year 2016. Overwatch. We are not talking about that Overwatch.
So, and
travesty.
At the point, one of the issues I had, it didn't make it really, I feel like, one of the reasons that a lot of media had thought this game was hard is because
they're bums.
Shots fired.
Well, it's not that. See, on this, they not only do they not reward you for playing bad moves in game, you don't recover after games. And there's sometimes where you go section after section after section with the exact same amount of health.
Right, that's what makes their difficulty what their difficulty is.
So sometimes I would literally have to stand back and play defensive and heal as many of them as I could before the enemies got to me, because I couldn't just heal. If you come across a corner and get hit by the people with the ice cube things, they did tremendous damage and they could come out of nowhere. And then if you killed him and then you went to the next game, Mario got 20 HP for the next match. So it didn't necessarily mean it was hard. It just meant you have to play more, cautiously. But I was just, I'm not disappointed in the game. I think for game. What?
That was my next question. I was like, based on now that you've played a bit, are you disappointed or you feel it's overrated?
Well, I think honestly, I think he just leveled up the wrong abilities. Because
I haven't really had issues at all playing the game.
Well, going to different segments from different segments, the people that I have in my party, because you're able to switch out people in your party. People that you have in your party are able to heal your party. So strategically, if you're playing in a fashion that heals your party as you go, every time you go to the next segment, you don't have an issue. I don't even fall into that category anymore, because I do so much vampire healing on self-heal on my characters and using weapons that are vampire heal.
I use Peach's splash ability.
I use that splash ability as well once I got her. But before then, I was using a lot of vampire per character.
I mean, it's like I said, that I said media. I didn't say I fell in that category. Don't get it messed up. I started that segment with a lot. I think a lot of the reason the media thought this game was hard, because that's all you saw when this game was being reviewed. It's hard. It's hard.
Because they want a kid's game. They keep looking for a kid's game, and it's not a child's game.
And there's no difficulty level, right?
No.
It is actually. Before you start each match, you can play on the difficulty level that they give you, which is
I wonder how many
from
people
medium
actually did
to
that.
hard, or you can play it on easy. There's an easy button that you can hit easy to save your butt.
It cuts all the enemy's health in half.
Wow.
It cuts the enemy health in half, and it doubles your energy to double. So like if children are playing, they can press Y to get past it. So you don't get frustrated with the game. Nintendo's not trying to implement frustration anymore.
They should put Iron Man in and make him really cry.
Oh, you talking about that hardcore permadeath? Let's go.
But you know,
So, I got a question since y'all have played it and I haven't, and I really don't have any clue. Does the difficulty feel earned, or does it ever feel artificially difficult? If that makes sense, like difficult for the reason of being difficult for no reason.
The only time that the game is even a little bit difficult is when you come across new enemies and you don't necessarily know what they do. That's the only time the game's hard at all. And even when that's not hard, you know, my Mario can kill 5 people in one turn. Like, he is ridiculously OP. Like, you could dash at someone, do 40.
That dash is OP. Like,
can
I didn't
dash
know
at
about
someone.
that dash, Low BG. Let me tell you real quick. Like, what's different from XCOM is that, like, you know how, like, XCOM, you can't really run on the space of the character. Like, with this, you can run into the space of the character, and that'll be a move to actually do damage. Like, it's, I've never seen that before. And the cool part, which I like, is like I said, you can run into someone, run back to your spot, then you can actually put your character on your another companion character spot, and he can throw you an additional space, like farther than your normal walking distance.
No, not B. It gets worse.
It's some of that. It's
It gets
one
worse.
turn. Like,
No,
what
you can do
in one turn. I'm like, this is wild OP.
No, it gets worse. You can do the dash thing. You can upgrade the dash where it does more damage. You can run to your person, jump, and you can throw Mario on another enemy and do more damage.
Wow.
And then you can land.
You can shoot. You can shoot.
Then you can land, shoot. And then you can also put this power on Mario that if they move, he pops them. Overwatch.
So basically, his special move is Overwatch, which is if they move.
Mario is broken. Wow. Mario is so OP in this game.
Nah, you know who's broken? Mario+Rabbids is broken.
Really?
Because he is the most OP character in the game. His gun game, he has a gun that if it shoots you, it turns you to stone.
Right.
90% of the time, when I shoot somebody, I'm turning them to stone. So my thing is to get Mario behind the strongest character, Rabbid Mario, shoot him, turn him to stone, and just have everybody have at this dude and get him out of there real quick.
I can, you know, it's not like, you know, what I meant yesterday when I was talking on Twitter is like, you know, I wasn't expecting a detailed story. I wasn't. But I was expecting to understand why I'm going to these certain regions. It's like they do give you an overall objective. They're like, go find the rabbit dude that's turning shit into everything. So like that's pretty much all they do. Like that's what your objective is finding the rabbit that's turning everything into what it is. And you literally, I have like 10 hours in this game, and I have not changed that objective. Like,
yeah, that's good.
So you was expecting way too much from Mario.
Yeah, right. It's always been save the princess, right, BG?
Well, yeah, I mean from Nintendo specifically, you should have known this. You should have known it's gonna. It's the biggest like just Captain Save-A-Ho like storyline.
Talk to the youth. Talk to the young wolf, Lord BG. I'm trying to get a Mario game.
That's all it's ever been.
He wanted a Final Fantasy type of storyline.
No, like you guys don't understand what I'm saying. Like I wasn't saying it like that. I was just saying, you know, a different subjective message than going from one point to a fight, one point to a fight, one point to a fight.
The transition. You're talking about transitions and reasonings of why it. Yeah. I mean, that's still too much to ask from in this game.
Yo, my thing is, I'm so upset that people that join your fight are there. Like, okay, it's not like you have to free them and then they become part of your team. Some people are there anyway, and you've been talking to them, and they decide to show up and fight for you. Now you get your butt kicked too bad. Let me join you. I said, what?
And then what's funny is there's certain opportunities where you run into a new person, and they throw someone that, you know, let's say that you put all your time into object A, and then they're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take object A, the dude you put everything into, and throw him to the corner and give you the new person. So you use the new person.
Yo, and you gotta use the new person.
Wait, what you mean? What you mean you gotta use them? You can't.
All right, listen. It's one part. I know what he's talking about. That okay, I put everything into that same person too. All right, because he's mad OP. He got things that you gonna really like.
Yeah.
And then it's a segment where you like, all right, let's do this battle, and they be like, nah, hold a second, throw your man to the corner, and you like, what? And they give you the next person that you know nothing about their abilities. Their abilities are not maxed out. Their abilities is fresh faced, and they like, here, work that out. Work that out.
That's like when RPGs, like, you know, for a segment or for a story reason, they make you fight with at least like one character. You can't take out your party. Yeah. And you're like, well, like, what is this? Like, this is not how I form my team. You know.
And what's funny is, like, you know, like, the game is awesome. It is. I like, you know, I like how aggressive this game is. That's why they give you 3 people. Sometimes I got to this one area where, and I like that they give objectified missions in this. They're like, it's not just kill everyone. It's not just do this. It's like, yo, we're gonna race you over here. Like, you get from point A to point B, and you know, I like the changing things up. I do like that.
Did you play any of the challenges? Because I got to the challenge
mode.
Done that yet. It is so phenomenal. They want you to get from the beginning to the board to the end of the board. Pick up
Mario+Rabbids. We've told you 10 times, Anchorman. Stop it.
To get to the end of the board, but they want you to do it in one turn.
Got you.
So you have to use all your tricks of the trade, sliding into characters, using your character to bounce off a character, using that character to bounce off the next character to get to the end of the board. And it's possible, because you probably look at it and be like, that's impossible.
Got you. So that's what we got of the Lords of Good on Switch Rabbits before we move on. So wanted to actually bring, since we're on the subject of Grandpa Nintendo here, wanted to bring in me to the round table as far as the this revelation that happened last week. And shout out to my man Lord Spawn Media. You know, Lord King know where I'm going. So pretty much it has been found that the Nintendo Switch has native voice chat all along. according to some Splatoon players, they were able to have this thing set up through a local area network.
Yo, BG, watch this.
And you know, I thought this was quite interesting because as the fans of the ILP know, Lord King and I have been going at this subject for a while. And when the Switch was announced, I said, Lord BG, I said, there's no possible way that this system cannot do native in-voice chat. I mean, GameStop had a listing for a headset with a microphone. Right?
That he purchased.
That I purchased. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, there's no way. Now we did hear about this foolish app, and I'm like, you know what? This is Nintendo. Conventional wisdom just says this is just an option, right? So as the news came forward, and Lord King began to laugh at me as more information began to come forward, that this stupid app would be.
I remember when all that was getting announced, we was like, they're not that dumb. Like, surely they're not that dumb.
Grandpa knows. He's with the times. Voice chat is something that every system does, even their previous systems, right? So as it became more known and the announcement came out, and obviously the jokes and the memes went down, that this stupid app is mandatory. And like Lord Addict says, if you're on a call, something happens, you get bumped from the app. You get a text, you get bumped from the app.
Get off the app.
All these things from the app. So I thought this was quite humorous. Again, shout out to my man Lord Spawn Weave Media, that they found out that there's fully functional voice chat in the Nintendo Switch. It is capable. So what this has shown is that Grandpa Nintendo is purposely blocking.
Lord Cognito.
Yes, continue, Lord King.
How do you get that functionality out?
I'm gonna tell you, you gotta do a code. You gotta do up, left, down, BABA start. Now, once you do this code, that I don't know how they found out about this. It is baked into the system. So I just want to bring this to the round table. Now that this information has been released, what do we think about this one?
No, you're skipping the whole part, man. He's not saying the truth.
Please tell me what I'm skipping, Lord.
He's being false news right now, fellas.
Please tell me what I'm skipping.
All right.
I'll let you start this topic.
The fact that he did not tell you, I had to bring it out of him that he had to do up, down, ABA start. Okay, that's one thing. All right, literally, you can only do chat on the same Wi-Fi.
Yes, local area network mode.
You have to be in the same house or the same room to do voice chat.
I mean, at this point, why do I
But you already in the damn house.
hold on. At this point, why don't I just scream to Lord?
Exactly.
Hey, yo, I'm downstairs.
It's made for bathroom breaks. It's Wi-Fi for bathroom breaks. That's literally all it is.
So is this like a bug, or Nintendo purposely designed it so you can only have voice chat on the same Wi-Fi now?
Yes,
is this like a loophole?
No, it's a loophole. It's purposely baked into the system that they can do it. They have blocked the ability to do voice chat unless you do it through the app. This is purposely done by Nintendo.
Is this the feature? So is this a thing with just Nintendo games in general, or just with Splatoon?
No, this is just
Splatoon initially. Now wait. They did test it on Mario Kart 8, and they said that the functionality it was really bad. So it's one of those things that it is being blocked. The ability's there, but it's being blocked. I need to know this, Lovey.
But the next part I understand. So if this was a feature intentionally that's supposed to be there,
yes.
Why did players have to discover it? Why wasn't it?
Exactly.
Well, you know why they had to discover it? Because it was stupid. It was stupid to say, yeah, listen, you could do voice chat if we all sitting in the same room. Oh, stupid head. He just said, why don't we just take the headset off? But what if Tommy has to go to the bathroom? All right, we'll leave it in there as a cheat code, but we're not going to tell. We can't advertise
so
that.
You really have to put in like input codes.
You literally.
You legit have to do the Konami code.
I thought y'all was joking. I thought y'all was joking.
I got the article right here. Splatoon LAN play, which is accomplished by going into the game's lobby.
Absurd.
You hold down the left and the R buttons and the left stick, waiting for the screen to fade to initiate local area network play and built-in voice chat. That is official. I'm on the IGN site right now. They got the code out. This is found on
absurd.
Yo, BG, you gotta make this a weapon wheel topic.
This is absurd. Like, this is absurd, dog.
This one for you. Why do you think the Grandpa Nintendo is doing this?
Because they don't know what they want to do. They dumb. I mean, have we not?
This had to be them like working on something initially,
and then they cut it at the last minute.
Yeah, and then they cut it, but they like didn't cut it out all the way. This couldn't have been intended. This had to be like, yo, yeah, we gonna put this in, and then like, well, we dropping this, but we ain't gonna remove the feature completely.
But we're gonna put an input code because ain't nobody ever gonna figure that out.
So they said it was tested. They said unfortunately the quality of the chat is riddled with static interference, and initially comes out at a really stupidly high volume. So that's another issue with it. But I guess what I wanted to also talk about is that, like, when I hear stuff like that, and I say, okay, why are you being so stubborn? And the only thing I can think about it is like they still must be in this archaic mentality that we have to protect the kids. You know what I'm saying? Because why are you forcing this app so hard? And the other question I have for the round table today is that, do you think because of the negative backlash that this app has received, it's been killed everywhere? I mean, even the most staunchest Nintendo supporters or sites have gone in on this app. Do you think because of public pressure and the fact that the actual online service will launch next year, do you think there's any chance that they would try to initiate or work on some type of native voice chat?
Hell no.
They can't. That's what the app is for.
I think
they can't.
I think you have a better chance of getting Sony to do crossplay than you have Nintendo doing that.
AJ. What's your feeling on this native voice chat secret unearthed fiasco?
I haven't laughed and have my brain hurt so much at the same time in a long time. This is the stupidest goddamn thing ever. I don't think they're gonna bake it in, homie. They're not gonna fix this for native.
King would buy the voice chat amiibo. I'm done.
Fastback. Yes, I would.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Logan. I interrupted you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. It's just like this whole thing is just stupid. It's just stupid, man. I'm like, why? Because the groundwork's there, right? Even if it is only Wi-Fi, right? This shows that nothing, right? So why the app? Why?
It's like Nintendo is like, you know what? I think we can dominate this whole generation. Which, you know, technically, I like how people compare the Switch to the Xbox One. It's like technically the Switch is the generation above the Xbox One and the PS4. So you couldn't even. It's like PS4 and the Xbox One already stomped their 8th generation. So it's like you can't even really make that comparison. But if you do want to, it's like we're gonna beat the competition. But you know what? We feel so confident in ourselves. Let's make us have handicaps. Okay, what do you think we can do?
One foot just
They put their hand behind their back.
So what do you think we can do? Well, people like to talk to each other. So let's take that out of it. Let's make them do an app.
I just thought this was something, man. I couldn't believe it, sir.
So
you're right. I forgot who said it though.
Have you used those headsets yet on it?
I refuse to utilize.
I'd rather use Xbox Live. It's like I said, they need to sell.
They don't have voice chat.
They need to sell every Switch with a PSN card or an Xbox One Live card or Xbox Live card.
Bend the knee then. They should do bend the knee retroactive.
Retroactive bend the knee.
It's crazy though, because I think it was Addict who said it. I mean, you might as well just scream across the goddamn house, right? I mean,
at that point,
it's just shared Wi-Fi. Good God.
That's all I got on it, unless the Lord's got anything else before we move on to the next time. I thought this was quite humorous. Lord King, what's going on in these PlayStation VR streets?
All right, well, I was gonna get rid of my PlayStation VR. To be honest with you, I played all my games. You know, I purchased every game they had for it, and you know, I was just sitting there like, wow, hey, this is, you know, Lord Cognito rears his ugly head again with this crap, and he talked it into existence, and they aren't supporting this thing. I literally said, let me pack this stuff up and get it out of the door. I was going to probably put it on eBay because, you know, I don't support GameStop in any form or fashion. And then...
Not to cut you off, King, but Anchor's savage in the chat right now with the Jim Ryan comment.
He said Jim Ryan stepped in from Sony was hired by Nintendo. I'm done with you, love. Yo, he said Nintendo needs to hire Don Matrick and bring Connect to the Switch. I'm sold for this.
Well, sorry, go ahead, King. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. So, Sony did the same thing to me with the VR. It doesn't matter. So I said, okay, fine. Let me get rid of this thing, and literally, I think it was minutes later, Lord Cognito sends me a text.
Shot you that 3-pointer from the outside, baby. I was like, oh.
Yeah, so I was like, he hit me with the assist on the baseline. I was like, whoa, what's this? I said, oh, hello. PlayStation announced release dates for the most sought after games for the VR and more VR support. I guess it was in a Paris show or something. And then I looked at the games that were coming out. I said, yo, I was interested in these games because I played them all at E3. This is my thing. You know, I go and I test all the VR games because I know once people get a chance to feel that medium, to put their face inside them goggles, they're going to purchase a VR. It's inevitable. It's going to happen because it's like candy. Once you get a taste of it, you're like, you know, you're going to have that sugar rush all the time. You're going to want it. So I unpacked all my stuff. I shot the thank you to Lord Cognito, and I said, is this the point where Sony turns it around with the VR narrative? Did they get their stock up or something? Because something seems to be wrong with the progression of their PR on the PlayStation VR. Something went wrong. Is a disconnect there to sell 60 million plus systems, and this is part of your link, and nobody's in this lane on the console other than yourself. Right. Why isn't this thing being talked about and championed? BG, did you get a chance to play PlayStation VR?
I hate PlayStation VR. I hate all VR.
Yes, Lord.
I think Sony ditched the VR as quick as Microsoft ditched the Kinect.
No, I don't think they ditched it because they showing you that they did ditch it.
I'm still seeing VR games come out, like actual relevant VR games come out now, but I just personally hate VR because it makes me sick.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's made me sick. I almost died at E3.
Okay. Okay. So, but you tried it and you suffer from. All right. Do you get it when you sit down in the games? Did you play any sit down games, or was it for the standing games alone?
Oh yeah, I sat down. I stood up. It didn't matter to me. It was both. I played like Doom VR. I played Rigs. Okay. There was something else I played. Yeah, all of them made me sick.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of people feel the same way. The vertigo.
I mean, for me, I'll jump in real quick. I obviously had to shoot my man Lord King that bone on that because I was surprised. I was like, wow, they're actually still supporting it, still making stuff for it. The only thing that actually interested me is because I'm such a fanboy was the Voltron VR Chronicles.
Literally, once you send me that, I unpack my stuff.
So I said, when that come out, I said, Lord King, you send me the invite. I'm coming to the crib, and I'm definitely gonna give it a chance to see because I still have not touched it. I'm very with VR, it just doesn't do anything for me. But again, in your defense is that I really need to experience it. Though. I really need to get into it and stuff like that. I guess I'm part of that whole Connect era, still thinking some of these things are gimmicks, and then with the install base, not everyone adopting it. So it's like, how much are they really going to support it? But I am surprised that Sony still continue to put out games. Now the question I have for you, Lord King, is: are they I heard a rumor. Are they dropping the price on the PSVR or no? Is that happening, y'all?
Well, all VRs across the board have been dropping the price. The Vive dropped the price. Oculus, we know Oculus and its financial troubles have dropped the price. All of them have dropped the price because they're trying to get it to the point where it's viable for people to go inside and purchase. Right now, it's not viable. It's at a premium price rate, and it keeps people out. The PlayStation is the most cost effective, but I believe that they're taking it at a loss. I honestly believe that to get that level of VR to the house, that they're probably making $2, if not losing $2 on every system.
Okay, I got you. Now, Lord Addict and Lord Zero, what are your feelings on this?
I'll pass.
You're good on VR. Matter of fact, you touched VR with me at E3. You actually was enjoying it a little bit. I was surprised. But
it did a decent immersion, but I've still to this day, maybe after I get my hands on a PS4, and then not shortly, long after that, I get my hands on a VR, then, I have been told there's a lot of games in there that not only do they have immersion in it, but they actually are good. So I got to play these, quote, good, unquote, games. So as of right now, it's like people are like, oh, you're a Final Fantasy fan? Go fishing. Yeah, okay.
No, I would not recommend that. But I'm gonna tell you this: stay the hell away from Resident Evil in VR. I'm gonna tell you that.
Yeah, I heard it's scary as hell. Like I heard that. Yeah, that's intense.
That's the most intense.
That's the first game I'm gonna play.
Yeah, I want to be there. I will take a flight out and sit right next to you because I want to videotape you committing suicide.
Jesus.
I personally just did there was a couple. I see that game as jump scares more than actually shiver down your spine scares.
The
only game that actually got me to where I was like, I don't even want to go any further. There was a couple scenes from Fear that made me feel like that, and the original Dead Space made me feel like that. But that's all.
Yeah, Dead Space was good.
Now, Lord Zero, what's your feeling on the PSVR situation?
I never cared for VR.
Not your cup of tea.
Across any device, never cared. I don't care. If Microsoft came out tomorrow and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna have this device," I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Have you tried one yet?
Yeah, I've tried a couple. They just don't do nothing for me, homie. It's just not my kind of thing. I don't knock the people who like it.
It's just not for you.
It's not for me. Yeah.
No doubt. So if that's what we got on VR, Lord King, you got anything else before we move?
I got for all those Division players, there's a million of Division players out there. VG247 gave a whole rundown on the new patch 1.8.
Oh, 1.8. That's correct.
Yes, and it's
aren't they
opening up
launching
more
this
levels.
shit right before or after Destiny 2?
After.
How long after?
No, 1.7 has been out. This is 1.8.
1.8. I thought so.
When
Right.
is 1.8 supposed to launch?
1.8 is supposed to launch sometime in the fall. I don't believe they gave an actual date.
All right. I thought for their second there, I thought Ubisoft was trying to be savage and launch that shit during Destiny 2.
No, they wouldn't do it because the train is too big. They would do it like when there's a lull, so they'd probably do it in November or something like that. But the PvE mode is called Resistance, and the PvP mode is called Skirmish. The Resistant mode is more like the Horde mode, so you get a chance to do
I'm
that.
Actually interested in. I'm a big Horde mode fan. So once you said that, I was like, all right, I might actually see what it's about, just out of curiosity, just because I'm a Horde mode nut.
And it kind of like the Horde, kind of like the Prison of Elders type of thing. Okay. They're taking little bits and pieces of Destiny and adding it in there. They're changing the loot system a little bit. They're giving you more guns and everything.
That's what I'm wondering, Chief.
Mm-hmm.
And the PvP is Skirmish.
Oh Lord, Chief Tommy is coming for your neck.
Oh, he's coming for me. He's coming for me.
Yeah, he's like, people still play this game.
Oh yeah. People are still playing it. You talking bad about it is not going to change it. So keep talking. Nobody's listening.
I don't even see you playing this game, fam. Please stop.
I play it every day.
Yeah, I think him and Monkey play.
And me and Monkey play. Me and Hot Monkey Lovin'. Shout out to Hot Monkey Lovin'. Me and him play every day. All right, me, Bostonian, Hot Monkey Lovin', and a couple other guys play every day. So I don't see you playing Rabbids. I don't see you playing Rabbids, but you play it, right?
Yeah, people still play it. To be fair.
Did you ever play that, BG?
What you said?
Did you ever play the Division?
I played the demo. I tried to convince myself to like it. I couldn't. I played because I remember when it was the PS4 demo came out.
Yes.
And then I was like, yeah, I can't get jiggy with this. And then the PC demo came out, and I'm like, maybe this will change my mind. And I was like, nah, I can't get jiggy with this either. So it was like nothing.
I can't get jiggy with it.
Getting jiggy, you gonna love our next topic. Move on, man. No, Monkey, I didn't let you finish it.
Yeah, but the PvP mode is 4-on-4, so you can get in the confined spaces and get that Osiris on. Now, what I've noticed is they're taking cues from Destiny that what worked with Destiny, and they're implementing it inside their game. And the reason why they're able to implement it with just patches and updates and open up boards is because they're not held back by the older systems. So the same way that they're doing this, I think Destiny 2 will be free from those shackles of the PlayStation 3 and the 360, that they're able to open up and give us more stuff, the stuff that we was looking for. So it bodes well for us with these new games.
Let me ask you a quick question before we move on, Lord King. I am surprised though that they actually are still updating it, because I thought at this point they'd be like, okay, Destiny is obviously our opposition, our competition. I thought that they would kind of be gearing up for that Division 2. So I was actually surprised
it's actually free.
No, I know it's a free update.
Yeah, these are free updates, huge updates, not small updates.
I guess my question to you is: are you more happy with this continued support, or do you rather them put those resources and effort towards a new game in Division 2?
No. I love the continued support, and I don't think a Division 2 comes out for the next 3 years, probably.
Oh wow!
Because they're able to expand the existing game by giving you DLC that opens up the map. They don't actually really need a whole new game, because the graphics are damn good. The game is a good to great game, depending on your level of playing. And they're fixing the part.
Yeah, it has its issue, but he defends the game because the Gear Vault is year ahead better than Destiny. Yes, going in, Lord King's riding for you.
They you know how we listen to Destiny's community, and Destiny listens to the community, and they actually go in and they fix, but they take longer than Ubisoft. Ubisoft actually, their turnaround to major problems is really fast. Right, you know, we complain about pre-loadouts. Now you're able to preload out existing characters that you didn't have to jump out and switch. You know how we go and we switch our characters in space and Destiny, and we have to change and we have to load out? No, you're able to actually jump now. You had to do that before. Now you're able to do it in game, switch out characters. So that's cool. They fix all our problems, and they're working on a total. To get to a perfect game. It's not gonna be perfect for everyone, but if you go back now to the Division, opposed to when you first played it, it's a totally different game.
Well, let me know when at 1.8 I might jump in that horde with you. Let me know when that drops. No doubt. So we are going to move on to our final topic, and there's a lot of news in these Destiny streets. A lot of stuff to talk about. So I wanted to bring this to the round table. Hopefully we don't put Lord BG completely to sleep. It's Destiny talk. But yeah, basically Digital Foundry had came out with a very intense article right now that has my Twitter line going crazy, and they talked about 1080p 60 and what it would take for Destiny to be run at that rate. I also wanted to talk about, besides that, there's the weekly update. They also talked about when the actual raid would be released on Destiny 2. I believe it's the 13th, and Trials of Osiris will be coming back on the 15th. And then the last thing is boy, there's been a ton of leaks. the dams have been breaking. Destiny 2 is about to drop next week. People are leaking stuff all over the place. We got Curse of Osiris DLC. We got all type of leaks going on. So before we start with all that stuff, I want to start with the Digital Foundry, the technical stuff first. Now, Lord BG, I'm going to start with you. Did you get a chance to find out what was going on with this whole 1080p 60 Destiny 2 statistics, what CPUs can run it? I don't know if you got a chance to check that out yet.
I actually didn't. I didn't really look that much into it. I was hearing more about the whole aim assist thing on.
Yeah, with the thing. Well, first of all, you played the PC version, correct?
I played both. Yeah.
Okay.
Both
now, tell me, what was your experience? I know you're not the biggest Destiny guy, but what was your experience just from a graphical fidelity standpoint? How did it look to you? How did it feel to you?
Man, I honestly feel like. For people who are diehard Destiny fans, you can no longer call yourself a diehard Destiny fan if you're playing on consoles. I really feel like it's.
What are you running?
I got 980 Ti. 980 Ti.
Okay.
i740, 790K, 16 gigs RAM. But yeah, I just feel like it's the equivalent to like maybe like I don't know, you a baseball fan, but you got like the craziest nosebleed seats. Like, yeah, you can't really call yourself a fan. You're not really watching the game. You're not
even
really
with
watching
an
the game, man.
Even with an X, you feel that way?
Oh, well, is it going to be 60? It's not going to be 60 frames.
No, it's going to be 30 frames, but
yeah, it's the 60 frames that make the difference, man. Like, Destiny is probably the, if I'm not mistaken, the only first-person shooter that's not 60 frames.
Yep,
that's one of the few. Now let me bring this to your attention, Lord BG, because this is what's the hot point of contention that Digital Foundry just put out an article. Our good friend Richard Ledbetter put out a good thing as far as CPU, as far as 1080p 60 and what would be need to run. So basically, in his article, he basically said that the PS4's 1.6 gigahertz CPU can handle 30 frames with some overhead to spare. And he said logic suggests that you'll be requiring more than a 31% increase in processing power to run everything at double speed, which rules out the PS4 Pro as far as the 60 frames per second. But he said the Xbox One X hands in a 44% increase in CPU power. But again, he said it doesn't seem like anywhere enough brute force to get the job done. So he said in terms of his PT testing, he said they regret that they didn't have an AMD Jaguar CPU core for testing, because obviously that would be closest baseline to what the Xbox One X is doing, with the overclock CPU. So basically what I want to bring to you, Lord BG, specifically, because I know you're the PC guy, is that I've been seeing a lot of talk in these Twitter streets. And I got to shout him out because this is my man. There's no personal beef with him. Lord Red Dragon, right? He's basically saying like it's embarrassing right now that these consoles, especially Xbox One X particularly, can't run the 60 frames per second. My argument has been more so that, as much as we're touting the Xbox One X as a beast, right? And that GPU, right? people are forgetting about the CPU and the CPU computations and what it can handle. You see what I'm saying? So my question to you, Lord BG, in reference to that, do you think that it's one of these things where it's, you know, the developers being lazy, Bungie being lazy? Do you just feel that, look, it just can't handle it? Like, what's your gut telling you in reference to this whole Destiny 2 60 frames per second fiasco?
I don't think it's that the Xbox One X can't handle it. I think that they're choosing to make a game that can do 4K instead of 60 frames.
Good point. Good point.
That's just where their priority is, because you know it's all about marketing. You can't really. It's hard to market 60 frames. Like you know, you can't put 4K on 60 frames on a box and like, okay, people gonna be like, okay, you know, and even casuals, they'll see 4K. They don't got to know that much. Casuals see 4K on a box, and you know that game, and that means something to them. But 60 frames to a casual doesn't really mean much. So that's why, and it's partially the gaming community's fault that they emphasize resolution so much. So and the Xbox One X is just Microsoft's console of saying, okay, well, y'all talked all that shit, so now we made this console. Facts. So you know, and that's what it is. If it's definitely capable of 60 frames, it's just, what do you want to sacrifice to get those 60 frames? Do you want to maybe downscale, you know, the scope of the game a little bit, maybe downscale these graphics to hit 60 frames? But you know, if you want to do that, you can do it, but that's not what they want to do. That's not what Microsoft, you know, really, you know, it's not.
Now, one last question before I pass to the rest of the roundtable to you, Lord BG. In reference to that, now we've seen with things like Rise of the Tomb Raider, right? That's just been announced for the Xbox One X, where they have this mode where they have the 4K, you know, mode, 4K 30, and they have the, you know, 4K whatever. And then they also have a 1080 60 mode. You know, would you be more keen to see Microsoft adopt these type of strategies as far as giving more options, almost kind of similar to a PC in a sense? Obviously, you're never going to have the extent of the PC, but you know, having a 1080 60 mode, do you think they need to accomplish that more as opposed to pushing, you know, the 4K narrative?
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure as to why. Are there any like confirmed games that we know of that are going to have optional?
For far as I know, right now, Rise of the Tomb Raider is the first and only one that I know that has that option where it does have the 1080.
And I think that's a problem, especially first party wise, because there's at least three Sony first party games that has graphical options. I know Neo has it. Hellblade has it, and even whatchamacallit, Horizon has it. It doesn't make the game 60 frames, but with Neo, it definitely makes the game 60. Hellblade, it makes the game 60 versus 30. So I don't know, especially when they have that power, they can definitely create those options. I don't know how much more manpower or hours that required for them to put those options in those games, but people definitely appreciated it. Because I was like, I turned the 60 hertz option off in Hellblade, and it was damn near unplayable. Like, it was it was like motion blur crazy, and it was just, and I hate motion blur, so it was, you know, it was bad. So I don't know why they don't have those options in more of their games.
Well, I've noticed that they list shows a lot of games that has the 60 frames per second, and then the options to do the 1080p, you know, 60, or well, their thing is 1440p and 60 frames per second, and you know, performance mode, 4K mode, checkerboarded mode. You know, those modes will be available across the boards. Any game that's on the PlayStation that I've noticed so far that have those options already built in, and it's on a multi-plat, that is definitely going to be inside the Xbox One X, because you know, they're already built into the interface. As far as, you know, first party games, we'll see. We know that a lot of their first party games have achieved 4K 60 frames per second.
We gotta have first party games to have these options.
This is true. This is true. You can't have a lot of canceled games and expect to have games, right? But the games that they are telling you that, you know, any game that had an uncapped frame rate that's backwardly compatible will achieve the optimal frame rate of that. with no problem. So again, it could be 50 frames per second, could be 60 frames per second, but those options will be there. Once we get that beast within hand, we can see exactly where it's at, how it goes, and everything is a bunch of speculation now. But the same way the Pro needed that breathing room in the beginning to because that's a lot of those stuff was added after the fact. It wasn't built in. You got a game and later on you got a patch.
You got a patch for it, right?
Yeah. Sweat boost mode. Okay. So Microsoft is coming from behind and they're seeing the mistakes ahead, and hopefully they can dodge those pitfalls and put those implementations into games where 60 frames. If we scream loud enough, 60 frames will be there for certain games. If some games you just can't achieve 60 frames.
Got you. Lord Attic, I need you on this. Where you at with this information with 1080p 60 Destiny 2?
I think the reason that there's not a 1080p 60 is because I do think they're trying to keep a parity for the original Xbox One S.
Yep.
And I think that's the culprit. I don't think it's some marketing deal. I do think the marketing deal might have a little bit something to say on it because you don't you definitely don't. What's the word I'm looking for?
I mean, this is the question.
You don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. Sony definitely giving out that money. Microsoft ain't giving out that money. So, they
got a problem with Microsoft too.
I will say this to your point, Lord, and I'll give it right back to you. Is that obviously we know the relationship Activision right now has with Sony in reference to the marketing deals. I don't want to go as far as saying that has a direct influence on platform parity, and then obviously we know Microsoft has said, at least Michael Barra has said that they're not
I don't
trying
think
to
that's
have.
I don't think that's going to prevent an X supported game, but I do think that's the reason that they're not even commenting that.
Well, they're not. See, that's the key. They're not commenting. I'm with you on this, Lord, because I feel that I don't think a marketing deal would prevent a system from having the better version, but I do find it interesting. And shout out to Four Guys with Quarters. They had a good discussion on this LAS podcast. That I do feel that it is kind of weird that they're not being able to talk about it, right? You notice that we have no information on the Xbox One X version of Destiny 2 or what it can do in any capacity. So I find
it's not just Destiny, by the way. It's Call of Duty.
Shout out to Lord Chop, Chief Time, shout out Lord Zero. Any Activision game, they're not saying what the Xbox One X.
Every time that's brought up in any kind of meeting or something, they completely dodge the question.
Right, that is correct. So what do you feel about that aspect, Lord BG, as far as marketing deals having any effect? Do you feel it's BS? You're not even falling into that. Where you at with this?
I'm kind of torn on whether marketing deals it is difficult because it's I think it's the optics of it that work more than the actual. It's about the optics of making this game seem like it's yours, right?
Facts.
So. But other than that, I don't think marketing deals. I don't think they're bad or anything. Some people look down upon them.
I'm in complete agreement with you. Complete agreement. I think that's business, baby. We got to get that money. It's competition, right? You're paying for the right.
What's funny is people always preach we need competition, and when they do shit for competition, we don't need marketing. That's anti-consumer.
I mean, it's the same thing. I fall in that line with exclusives. I mean, it's part of the game. If you want people to buy your platform, you've got to do this. And as far as marketing deals, that we're unlike us. We're the hardcore. We know Destiny 2 is also on the Xbox One X. But to the casual, he sees a commercial, he sees a Destiny 2 inspired PlayStation console. He may think that you can only get Destiny there. So I can't get mad at Sony for doing that.
It's not even really trying to trick the consumer into thinking that's an exclusive. It's to you see that, like you said, you see that it's about that association with the brand. You see PS4 at the end of every Destiny 2, you say, oh, Destiny 2 looks good. And when your friends talk about getting Destiny 2, they've triggered that PS4 brand with that Destiny 2. So before you know it, 3 or 4 people picking up PS4s for Destiny 2.
Because I honestly feel I don't think Sony needs a Destiny marketing deal, right? Let's say they didn't have it. Right. I think it would obviously still sell the most on PS4, the vast majority. Yes. I honestly feel Sony just does this to have a chokehold.
Yes.
I feel like they do it more to not let Microsoft have it than they want.
Yes.
That's how I was leaving it. It's not about like, oh, we want this that much. No, we just don't want you to have it. That's all.
I call it the boot on the neck.
Right, exactly.
Let's keep the boot on their neck. Let's not
we got all the market share, and you know what? We just gonna take as much as we can. Just make it harder for you. That's all it is.
Right.
Well, to be fair, didn't Microsoft do that to them?
The last generation, right? With Call of Duty and 360. So again, turnabout's fair play. This is
there you go.
Baby. I'm not mad, baby. You know what I'm saying? But so we got on the 1080-60. I want to get into real quick the leaks. The weekly update real quick. Obviously, we know about that raid, which is one of the biggest things in Destiny. It has been announced to be 13, so it looks like we got a week to get those light levels up to blaze, to get that going. And the question I have is, anybody seen these leaks that's been going on?
I've been staying away from every
You've been staying away. All right.
I have seen every last one.
Right, I'm going to bring it to you, Lord Joe. I'm going to bring it to you, Lord Joe, because the only leak that I cared about, I'm bringing this to Lord B. She's like, as all of you know, I am not a fan of the speaker. If you look at my Twitter profile,
charlatan.
I am a disciple of Osiris. He's the true one. He's the true
Mark
prophet.
Turney.
All right, I have been. The light has shined upon me. I've been enlightened, and the speaker is a charlatan. So when I heard about the Curse of Osiris DLC in December, where we go rescue my man, the great prophet, I was excited. Lord Zero, I give you the floor. What did you feel about this DLC release, and as far as the leaks and stuff?
Be careful with these leaks. Don't do anything stupid.
I'm not going to spoil nothing. It's just there's been it's hard to dance around it, to be honest, just because everything's been rather specific and kind of, you know, in detail, which is unusual. But I'm excited for the DLC to see where it goes, to be honest. And I know for a fact Cognito has been preaching the good word of Osiris for years now.
That's right. That's right, brother Zero.
I feel like this is tailor-made for you. Like Bungie
they spoke to me. They spoke to me with this DLC. They spoke to me, so I said, "Yes, this is what I'm talking about."
But I'm excited to see where that's going. As far as what the leaks contain, I'll just go over it real quick. I won't give any details. There hasn't really been any story information, which is good. Nothing like too big. The light cap has leaked, as well as the soft cap, which is, for those who don't know, the cap you can get to on your light level before you have to grind the in-game stuff to get to that higher echelon.
Gotcha.
Those have leaked. So has the normal level cap. You know, in Destiny, like in Destiny, where you just got to level 20 and then you got from there. At least 50 exotic weapons and armors have leaked, class specific and not. I don't think game modes have really leaked. There's been some hints at what's going to be contained in a raid. The shops have been linked too, like complete and other like shops just all together.
And you know what? Like I don't even who they need to find like. Lord BJ, the reason all this shit got leaked is because someone got their hands on a strategy guide before the game came out. A strategy guide. Like, that is the worst thing your game could possibly get leaked, is a strategy guide.
I don't know, man. I'm enjoying the leaks, to be honest with you. I understand why people are hesitant on that, though.
Prima is the problem?
Too funny. But yeah, I mean, it's out there. It's coming next week, so this is to be expected. But Lord Attic, you've been staying away. You're just keep your head to the ground.
I particularly don't want to have the whole game spoiled because some douchebag got his hands on a strategy guide.
All right.
To be fair though, it's not the whole game though. It's just exotic weapons and armors for the most part.
Okay. I'm surprised this dude didn't leak the whole game.
I think it's strategic.
Okay. You think it's just to build the hype up?
It feels that way, though. It feels that way. I'm kind of in agreement with King on this, because this doesn't... You don't have a strategy guide just pop up out of nowhere.
No, it doesn't. This is strategic.
I mean, you don't have the game pop up 6 days before it comes out, but people sell shit before it's supposed to sometimes.
I was talking to one of the E3s I went to. I think it was Prima strategy guys. I was like, they were there, and I always wondered, like, how does it work that they get every bit of information and put it into your strategies. I'm like, do y'all just play the game yourself and figure it out? They're like, no, the developers tell them everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They said the developers, like, they talk with somebody at the studio. They play the game themselves, figure out something, but developers pretty much tell them everything they know. Like,
Wow.
Imagine
anything they want to know.
Imagine doing the strategy guide for like a Skyrim.
Yeah,
quick.
you know, they sit there with these guys because the attach rate to these books, these strategy guides, and the systems is really high. You know, as you know, remember we used to have GameFAQs. GameFAQs kind of is doing this thing still out there, but for those people that want that, you know, that strategy guide in hand, like I got one for Zelda, and it just enhanced the game. You know, the game is a whole lot better for me having a strategy guide, getting those little nooks and crannies out of it. The playtime is expounded. So yeah, I think it's good that the developers will work hand in hand with Prima to get that stuff out to the people.
I wonder how that whole process works though. Like who gets the money? What kind of deals are they made? Like,
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even know about that, so I'm glad Lord VG brought that to my attention as far as how that information is transpired. I had no idea. That's interesting. Real quick, Lord King and Lord Attic, what did you guys feel about that Curse of Osiris DLC that was there?
I don't care.
God damn it, AJ. You're the worst.
You're not trying to be a disciple of Osiris?
I'm not an Osiris person.
Oh,
I'm not
like
a speaker person either.
Like
I prefer them both to kill each other in a battle. I don't care.
Jesus Christ.
Lord
Get rid of
King.
them both.
I like Oris more than I like them too.
The rescuing of Mark Cerny.
Oh my God, I'm done.
I thought the DLC, the rescuing of Mark Cerny, was fantastic. I think to get that charlatan, that snake oil salesman, to save him, I think you should be able to put him to death afterwards. Put him into the prison of elders after you save Mark Cerny. Does it come with a free copy of Knack 2 so you can take both of them and put them in the prison of elders?
I am done. Okay, blasting my man Osiris.
I'll be honest with you though, Lord Cognito. Like, I'll be with you there that the rescue your man, but the history has shown not to trust the warlock. I'm just saying.
Man, you guys are black. You guys are heretics.
I'm just being honest. I mean, look, the Grimoire and everything, it teaches us this, man. You gotta learn from past experiences.
We shall see. I'm hearing rumors about Vex technology and his capture, but we're not gonna spoil it too much. But let's wrap this thing up. We probably had some great topics, and actually, first of all, shout out to Lord BG for coming through, man. Really appreciate you coming through, you know what I'm saying, bringing that knowledge, dropping that gems on us real quick. So actually, before we do your outros and all that stuff, I wanted to get the new ILP poll out, and this is what it's going to be. So based on what we talked about earlier, when new titles are announced and Xbox One X game specs are revealed to not hit the 4K 60 frames per second target, who do you subject the most blame? A, lazy developers not taking the time to optimize for the architecture of the Xbox One X, or B, Xbox and Microsoft themselves for creating an uncompromised 4K narrative? That is the question. Those are the choices. Please rock the vote. It will be up on the ILP Twitter polls when it goes up. So first of all, again, shout out to Lord BG, man. Thank you for coming through, bro. Really appreciate you dropping them gems on. Where can the people find you?
Weapon Wheel on Twitter. Just look up Weapon Wheel Podcast on YouTube. Real easy to find. We'll be live 6 o'clock
6 p.m.
today. Yeah,
Nice.
6 p.m. EST today, and then next week we're starting back on Saturdays at 6 p.m. EST.
Oh, so you're gonna let us eat so we can get some numbers finally. You gotta let the little podcast eat sometimes, bro.
Yeah, football season about to start. Appreciate being on, even though I obviously hate Destiny, but it's
Listen, I'm impressed with you. You hung in, man. I was really impressed with you. I know how you feel about Destiny. I was also very impressed that you played the actual PC demo, so that was cool. Well,
Yeah, he got shot with the golden gun. He just ain't felt right since.
Nope, never. And it happened again while I was playing on the Crucible, and I'm like, man, I just got one-shotted by, man, I'm out.
Fair enough. At least you tried. That's all I said. You put your money where your mouth is.
Iron Lords has always been about different.
To be honest with you,
too,
BG, it is hard to get past cheap supers because they're very cheap supers.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I try to tell BG that if you want a competitive feeling, Trials of Osiris, there's no second to it. There's just not.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Oh, trial. I'm gonna be honest. If you're a hardcore competitive PvP guy, Trials is what you need to be playing.
Because chances are, when you play Trials, you the supers become a nuisance and it become an advantage and a disadvantage. It's if you pop your super too early, you're gonna lose. You have to lock out for theirs because chances are you're only gonna get one on each side most of the time for every character.
We have to bribe little BG to get in there one time so you can see it.
I mean, there's no bribing to it. They got a Patreon. You can make him play.
So you might see Lord Cognito pop up in that Weapon Wheel Patreon. Let me stop. But anyway, let me get the outros going. Lord Attic, my brother from another mother, you got things cooking. What's going on, and where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, Room to Kill on Xbox and PlayStation. Steam is Gaming Addict. I would be Gaming Addict on Xbox, but some dude made an account in 2006, and I can't have it. And he has 200 gamer score. Okay. So I'm not even going to talk about that because I'm going to be flipping out. Definitely, the Inner Circle Network has definitely launched a Patreon, so definitely go check that out. It should be in the comment section, I'm pretty sure. Absolutely. A lot of nice tiers that you can make people do.
We just got to talk to Lord Cal about that Iron Lord's raid tier.
Yeah. But
that's a very difficult tier.
Appreciate all the support you give the Inner Circle and the Iron Lords podcast. I will be streaming Destiny on day one.
Nice.
I'm going to be streaming it probably for that whole night.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I strategically made myself have the day off.
No doubt. That's what's up. Lord King, where can the fine people find you?
You guys, where you can find me: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that other good stuff. I'd like to give a shout out to Lord BG for coming through. It's always great to see a young entrepreneur from New York City doing his thing and
success.
Doing it in a way that is different. You understand? Like the way you did it is you looked at the parameters and you changed it. You went outside the box to create your lane, and your lane is fantastic. That's a good lane that you got in, and also the visualization of the the podcast as far as doing the visual every month or so. So that's fantastic. I just like to give a shout out to that. You're one of the guys that when I did start looking at podcasts or listening to podcasts, Weapon Wheel was one of the ones that I did listen to, and is entertaining on many different levels for many different reasons. and the fact that you from BK, New York, always get that support from me. The merch. Hey guys, the merch is in the final phase. I have testers out here, checking the quality of it. Stuff looks great. I'm not going to sell you anything or have anything sold to you that I wouldn't personally wear myself or have my family wearing.
Oh, trust me, Lord King doesn't do anything he wouldn't do. Trust me on that one.
That's right.
Yeah, so, I want the team to get fitted in it. Check it out, and I really need everybody's opinion on these things because I want you to have the highest quality. There's different tiers to it. There's going to be a premium tier, and there's going to be, the regular tier, but I want that regular tier to be better than the tier that you get anywhere else.
No doubt. Lord Zero, where can find you? Original Iron Lord OG.
Well, first off, I want to say it was great to be back at the round table with the brothers. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a good while.
Mm-hmm. We got to get you and Lord Swap back.
Yeah, we got to do that OG show. That throwback.
You know it.
But I do want to thank VG for coming out too. And I don't think that you hate Destiny, brother. It's just a different viewpoint, which is something Iron Lord's podcast was always stressed in the beginning. Different viewpoints, different walks of life.
Facts.
But all
Yeah,
gaming,
you got some of us that can't stand the division, some of us that like it.
But you know what? The difference between you and I is, sorry for cutting you off. It is I actually went out and purchased the Halo Wars 2, and I actually completed it.
That's what I like.
So I actually put, I saw what you like, and I said, let me try it. Let me get that same feeling.
Right.
So,
this is why
I definitely have the division. Try again, sir.
Damn it!
No one can say that to my man Lil VG. He actually played that Destiny bait. I watched the stream. I was like, all right, at least he gave it a shot. That's all I asked. But go ahead, Lord Zero, finish up. I'm sorry.
Well, no, as usual, you can catch me on Xbox Live at Lord Zero ILP. You can catch the Playback Gaming crew. We changed our air date. Is now going to be on Thursday nights at, I want to say 9:30 Central Time. We are flying the TIC colors now.
Nice.
So, new fam there. It's all great. Yes, sir. So make sure to turn in, After Hours Barcadia is our new name. And, it's your adult-centered gaming show where you're, cussing, all kinds of stuff, entertainment, and whatnot.
No doubt. Shout out to Diz, Pan, the Reaper, the crew, I respect that After Hours. And of course, like I said, Lord Cognito here, we spreading that realness on the ILP, not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Real quick, we're gonna pay the bills right quick. First of all, football season, y'all. Starts next week. The ILP time will change. We will be at 11 a.m. Eastern. So put that in your clocks and your calendars. I'll send the tweets out. No longer at 1 p.m. because we are not competing with the Lord's NFL. We do not do that. So 11 a.m. will be the new start time. Make sure you guys get that straight. Also, a lot of people, I'm still getting you guys hitting me up on ILP channel. That channel will not go away. However, please like and subscribe to the Inner Circle Network. That's where we are. That's where the live streams are. So you guys commenting on old videos, you're late. You got to get over here to the Inner Circle. That's the movement now. So get over here. And also for the audio, we're up on Podbean, all that good stuff, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud. All the support really helps us. Shout out to everybody in the chat today. Chat was lit as usual. And we're going to end this thing. And thanks for coming through. And on that note,
Kai, sleep is for the week. Don't be like that.
11 a.m. Eastern, y'all. And on that note, we are out. Peace.